What if I told you that one sentence in your interview could increase your salary by 10, 20, or even 30%? And most people never say it. Not because they are not capable, but because they do not know how to negotiate in the right way. Or worse, they say something that immediately reduces their value. Welcome to Fluent Career English. Today, you are going to master one of the most important professional skills, which is salary negotiation during an interview. This lesson is designed for B1 to B2 English learners, but we are going to use strong, professional, corporate-level English that you can use in real interviews. By the end of this lesson, you will not only know what to say, but also how to think, how to position yourself, and how to confidently ask for a higher salary without sounding aggressive. And here is something important. Salary negotiation is not about asking for more money. It is about communicating your value.
That is a critical mindset shift. If you think like a job seeker, you will ask. But if you think like a professional, you will negotiate.
Exactly. So let's start with the most important moment in any interview. The moment when they ask you, "What are your salary expectations?" This question is not just a question. It is a test.
Yes, it tests your confidence, your awareness, and your positioning.
Let's look at what most people do wrong. The first mistake is being too passive. For example, "I am open to anything."
This sounds polite, but it sends a dangerous message. It tells the employer that you do not understand your value.
And when you do not define your value, someone else will define it for you. Usually at a lower level. The second mistake is being too direct without strategy. For example, "I want 80,000.
That sounds rigid and unprepared.
Yes, and it invites rejection instead of discussion. So what is the correct approach? You need 3 elements: clarity, justification, and flexibility. Here is a strong answer. Based on my experience, skill set, and current market benchmarks, I am targeting a salary in the range of 75,000 to 85,000.
That is a powerful statement.
Let's analyze why it works. Based on my experience, skill set, and current market benchmarks shows preparation and credibility.
It tells the interviewer that your number is not random.
And "I am targeting a salary in the range of" gives flexibility while maintaining control.
You are guiding the negotiation.
Now let's practice a realistic dialogue. What are your salary expectations?
Based on my experience, technical skills, and current market benchmarks, I am targeting a salary in the range of 75,000 to 85,000.
That sounds confident and well-structured. Now let's go deeper into strategy. One of the most effective techniques in salary negotiation is anchoring.
Anchoring means setting the starting point of the discussion.
If you set a strong anchor, the final number is usually closer to your expectation.
But if you start too low, it is very difficult to move up.
That is why research is critical. Before the interview, you should know the market range for your role, your industry, and your location.
You can then position your number within the upper range if you have strong experience.
Now let's move to another important moment. When you are not ready to answer the salary question.
Yes, sometimes the interviewer asks too early.
In that case, you should delay the answer professionally. For example, I would prefer to understand the full scope of the role and responsibilities before discussing specific numbers.
This is a strategic response.
Let's practice. I would like to learn more about the role and expectations before discussing salary in detail.
That shows confidence and control.
You are not avoiding the question. You are managing the timing. Now let's talk about confidence in language. Small words can weaken your message. For example, avoid words like maybe, just, or around.
These words reduce authority.
Compare these two sentences. Maybe around 70,000 would be okay. And I am targeting a salary in the range of 70,000 to 80,000.
The second one sounds much more professional and confident.
Now let's move into a high-pressure situation. You receive an offer, but the number is lower than your expectation. This is where real negotiation begins.
Many candidates make an emotional mistake here. They either accept immediately or reject too aggressively.
Instead, you need to respond with appreciation and redirection. Here is a strong example. Thank you for the offer. I appreciate the opportunity. Based on my experience and the impact I can bring, I was expecting something closer to 85,000.
That is a perfect balance.
Let's practice it. Thank you for the offer. I really appreciate it. Based on my experience and the value I can bring to the team, I was expecting something closer to 85,000.
That sounds confident and professional.
Now here is an advanced tip. Always connect your salary to business impact, not effort.
Yes, companies pay for results, not effort.
Instead of saying, I work very hard, say, in my previous role, I improved process efficiency and contributed to measurable growth.
That makes your request stronger.
Now let's build a high-level response. Based on my track record of delivering results and improving operational efficiency, I believe a salary closer to 85,000 would accurately reflect my contribution.
That is executive-level language.
Now let's continue with a more complex negotiation scenario. The employer says, this is the maximum we can offer.
This is a critical moment.
Yes, and most people stop negotiating here. But professionals continue the conversation strategically. You can say, I understand the current budget constraints. Could we explore flexibility in other areas such as performance-based bonuses, signing bonuses, or a salary review in the near future?
That is a powerful move.
Let's practice. I understand there may be budget constraints. In that case, could we explore performance-based incentives or a salary review after 6 months?
That keeps the negotiation open.
Now let's talk about positioning yourself before the offer. Because the best negotiation happens before numbers are discussed.
Yes, your perceived value determines your offer.
During the interview, you should consistently highlight your achievements. For example, in my previous role, I led a project that improved efficiency by 25%.
This builds a strong case before negotiation.
By the time salary is discussed, the employer already sees your value. Now let's move into a full, realistic interview scenario. I will be the interviewer. What are your salary expectations?
Based on my experience, leadership responsibilities, and current market benchmarks, I am targeting a salary in the range of 80,000 to 90,000.
That is slightly above our current range.
I understand. Could you share the range you have budgeted for this role?
We are considering around 75,000.
Thank you for sharing that. Based on my experience and the results I have delivered, I would feel more aligned with a figure closer to 85,000.
That is a strong and professional response. You did not argue. You aligned your value with your expectation.
That is the key principle.
Now let's go even deeper into mindset. Confidence in negotiation does not come from language alone. It comes from preparation and self-awareness.
You need to believe that you bring value.
One practical technique is to prepare a value summary. This is a short statement that highlights your impact. For example, I specialize in improving team efficiency, delivering high-impact projects, and contributing to measurable business outcomes.
This helps you speak with clarity.
Now let's practice integrating this into negotiation. Based on my experience in delivering high-impact projects and improving operational efficiency, I am targeting a salary in the range of 85,000 to 95,000.
That sounds very strong.
Now let's talk about silence. Silence is a powerful negotiation tool.
Yes, after you state your number, do not rush to speak again.
Let the interviewer respond. This shows confidence.
Many people talk too much and reduce their own value.
Exactly. Now let's move into closing the negotiation. If you reach an agreement, confirm it clearly. For example, that sounds great. I am happy with this offer and excited to move forward.
That shows professionalism and enthusiasm.
And if you need more time, you can say, "Thank you for the offer. I would like some time to review the details before making a final decision."
That is completely acceptable.
Now let's quickly summarize the advanced strategy. First, position your value before discussing salary.
Second, use structured and confident language.
Third, anchor the conversation with a strong range.
Fourth, connect your salary to business impact.
Fifth, stay calm and strategic under pressure.
And finally, always keep the conversation professional and respectful.
If you master these skills, you will not just answer salary questions. You will control the negotiation.
And that is what separates average candidates from high-value professionals.
See you in the next lesson where we will master negotiation inside the workplace and during projects.